Hello, my name is William Lowe, and I am the author and illustrator of Old Penn Station. I came up with the idea to create a children's book about the original Penn Station while I was a student in Syracuse University. I was going for my master's, and I decided that the subject of my thesis would be the birth, life, and death of the original Penn Station in New York City. The visual thesis was made up of 10 paintings, and I felt that these works would be the beginning of a great children's book. So, I presented the idea to Henry Holt, and I was thrilled when Laura Godwin enthusiastically approved the idea for the book. The thesis paintings touch on several emotions. As a native New Yorker, I love all things dealing with the city, especially its architecture, trains, and street life. I also like the challenge of creating impossibly complex scenes of enormous spaces, and I love filling the spaces with hazy sunlight. And finally, the thesis touches on feelings of anger, because as a Long Island commuter, I despise the current Penn Station and the fact that we must suffer the indignity of this crowded, inelegant station. The research for the book was a time-consuming process. I scoured museums, libraries, and the internet in search of Old Penn Station, with the hope of gathering enough information to get a feeling for its mammoth structure. I was only 7 years old when the station was destroyed, and I regret that I have never had a chance to see this marvelous building. So it became a personal challenge to bring this much-loved building back to life. Through black and white photographs, I was able to piece together the station's concourse, restaurant, and waiting room. With the architectural elements in place, I then filled the compositions with sunlight and crowds to create the right mood, texture, and atmosphere. The entire project was exhausting, but at the same time it was a thrill. As rewarding as the paintings were to create, I am equally excited by the response to the artwork. The story and the paintings strike a nerve with all New Yorkers, and indeed people all across the nation. Whenever I mentioned that I was working on a book about the original Penn Station, the response was almost always a long sigh and a quiet "oh." And that's how it should be, for there are no words to describe the loss of this monument, and that's why I feel that this story had to be told.